Hello there, it's Richard Bowser from Property Investor News, and this is the second interview with Anna Clare Harper, talking about the current marketplace and what Anna is doing herself in terms of her property strategy. Anna has written recently an article for Property Investor News, talking about what she's doing. One of the things that you mentioned, Anna, in our previous interview was about the sort of uncertainty in the market and how you see people in terms of what they should be considering in terms of their strategy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And just very briefly, for anyone who hasn't seen the other one, I'm a real estate investment strategist and co-founded a UK property investment business that has just raised 6 million of seed funding to build a £100 million long-term, value-driven, high-income residential portfolio. So that's the context. And in terms of uncertainties, I mean, we've been beset by challenge. So many changes have happened in the market. So firstly, there's how to respond to that. No one has the right answer. And in fact, there maybe is no right answer. But you can guide, you can use the information that is available to guide very, very sensible decisions, or you can keep going blindly. So there's been a lot of change, regulatory change, all in favour of professionalisation in the market. And if you're used to doing particular strategies, they may need to change because what worked before may not work going forward. And the second thing is there is undoubtedly prolonged uncertainty from what no one wants to talk about and everyone is bored of talking about, but Brexit. And actually the specific impact of Brexit on the market, in my opinion, is not that strong other than holding people up and making them more emotional and nervous around making, for example, a buying decision, which, if you're a developer, is pretty important. And the third thing that I think is creating a lot of change in the market is demographic change. So we've an aging population. Many of the older generation have aspired to property rights. It's almost like in the UK there's kind of a cultural affinity. There's definitely a cultural affinity and sense of ownership that is very, very important around property. But actually the younger generation typically can't afford to buy in their local markets very, very often. It's a privileged set who have the ability to do that. And there's a huge affordability change going on. And that will lead to further changes and uncertainty in the market, both for rental and for developers. There's also demographic trends around where those people want to work and where they want to live, which affects all parts of the market. My focus is generally residential, and I think it's probably the easiest to understand in many respects. But the reality is the people who would have bought before, maybe in the generation below mine and at mine, they're not necessarily doing what their parents would have done. So we kind of have to look at that and accept it and respond to it. And no one knows quite what the outcome is, but you can make some fairly good assumptions based on where supply and demand seem to be going and where they're going so far. So a lot of uncertainty in the market thanks to regulations, political uncertainty and demographic change.
It is, as you've just described, a complex situation, and perhaps at the moment, we're yet to see a clear pathway ahead. But you've certainly, underlined some of the fundamentals in terms of why we have a degree of uncertainty, particularly in and around London at this moment in time. But at the same time, here we are at an auction today with a good few, I say few hundred. There's probably 400 or 500 people down in that auction room today with a packed room. So
and one comment on that, actually, I was thinking about that during the panel, is like absolutely packed room, which personally I wasn't expecting, but I've not been to an auction since my last auction deal. And one thing I was wondering about is if the reason that people are here is because they are looking for increased certainty. When the hammer drops, you're buying that. When the reality is, and selling, it could be sellers or buyers, the reality is everyone is looking for ways to reduce uncertainty. And actually that room being packed may be a sign of exactly that.
Well, I think anecdotally one in four or 1 in 5 property purchases falling down because of one in three. Just goes to show that if you buy at auction or sell at auction, there is certainty, and within 28 days you will have possession or you will have sold.
Yeah, exactly. So we all want more certainty in this very uncertain market. That's what I guess people crave, that, right?
Well, that's enough for now.
Yeah,
Anna. Thank you very much for your time here today.
If anyone wants to reach out, it's Anna Clare Harper on LinkedIn. Same for the website, no I in Claire, and same on Instagram. And you can also come find my podcast, The Return Property and Investment Podcast. on iTunes.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you.
Thanks.